All right, everybody. Another little episode here. I'm going to make you a Junetruese jig with a June bug Protec. And all you're going to need is a little stick to stir with. I use a paintbrush. And some hemostats of any kind whatsoever. And a little rack to hang your jigs on. It don't really matter. You can use anything. I use my vise a lot of times. Anything, dowel pins at Home Hardware, anything. And you're also going to need a little torch lighter that any local convenience store should have them. And you're going to need some June bug. Oh, and I'm going to paint the 1/8 ball head. I'm going to show you the whole entire way. And you're also going to need some little cheap emery board fingernail files. So this has a little bit of a thing on the head. You see it right there where he breaks the lead off, which everybody does that. And I'm just going to file it down smooth because you want a real high quality paint job. That's just how I do it. And then a lot of times where the lead and all comes out, I mean where the hook comes, this is just a Craftsman utility knife with interchangeable blade. You need one of them also. And a lot of times where the hook comes out here or here, sometimes on the mold, every once in a while it'll mess up and there'll be just a little touch of lead, you know, just you got to take off. If you want the high quality, which all I want is the extremely high quality. That's just how I am. Just how I am. And it also sets you apart from other people sometimes. And see, that's all it takes to get these jig heads ready. I'm gonna set them on my little trusty bucket. I set my little bucket up here so you can see everything exactly what I'm doing here. Now I'm just getting my head ready. And it's not as complicated as many people think it is. But this here in Louisiana, we like calling it, at the Bayou Bob especially, like calling it a Junetruese, which is a June bug and chartreuse mixture. And I do every size head like that, except for like the 1/64 and the 1/80 because they're so small. All right. So we're going to get our hemostats here. And remember from the last video, stick it on the eyelet where you're not touching anything. All right. And this is where your brush comes into effect. You want to shake it up. Get it good and shook up. Make sure there are no clumps. Then you want to unscrew it. And take a little bit of dust here. Take your paintbrush handle and stir it up. Get it really fluffy. Really fluffy. That's what you want, so real fluffy. And then you'll take your little hand torch and heat the head up. Heat the head up. And then you got to give it that shake. And that is how you paint just a June bug head. And while let me get through all this off. And you got to let it cool off. My opinion, you have to let it cool off before you paint the second color on it. We're going to be adding a second color to that head. The reason it is to paint the second color, to let it cool, is if you go ahead and paint it right now, the colors will blend. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not the style I'm looking for. I'm wanting a straight June bug and chartreuse. A straight June bug and chartreuse color. So now that I have got that done, I'm going to show you how I make a glitter critter also. That's got to cool. While they're cooling, I'm going to take my disco gold and stir it up. All right. Same way. You don't want to heat your disco color. You don't want to heat the head too much on your disco colors, because it will tarnish. It will, once you do a lot, you'll understand it'll dull it and make it not shiny. Watch, you just want to heat it. Not near as much, but to get it hot enough for paint to stick. And then heat it, because see, it didn't really get on there. Just heat it up, and then look. There is a disco gold. Beautiful disco gold with no, it's bright and shiny with no mess ups whatsoever. Man, that is beautiful. Okay, let me get one more of these. And then remember, this is the glitter critter, and that other one is going to be the Junetruese. So you're going to heat this head up. Just be careful not to heat it too awful much and melt the flakes to the head. Just let me go back in there one more time. But after fooling with it, you'll get the knack for it after you do a lot of them. Just don't overheat it. And see how shiny that is? If you overheat it, it won't be that shiny. All right. Now I'm going to get my other contraption here. Let me put this up for you. And there's tons of ways to do this. Tons and tons of ways to do this. I have two more. I can make them later. But this is green chartreuse. I don't know why they call it green chartreuse. I think all chartreuse is a green color. Then I'm going to take just an old kitchen spoon, and I'm going to put me a cap full of paint in here. And then wipe my paint off on my little rag. I got a little rag here. And then take your, if you can see what I'm doing here, level that off, because you want a smooth level finish. You want a smooth level surface area that you're working with. See how smooth that is? And then, sorry, I got candy in my mouth. You're going to take your June bug, and you don't have to use your forceps or nothing. All you have to do is heat the back end of your head, the back side of your head, and then just dip it down in there and heat it up. Make sure it's really good and hot. And there you go, folks. That is a Junetruese head. That is a Junetruese. Just heat up where you're going to stick it. That's all you got to do, is heat it where you're sticking it. And that, again, is a beautiful Junetruese right there. Now, I'll just set this over here, and off camera I'll clean that up. Now, remember I was wanting the glitter critter, and my little spin on it is I add silver instead of just having it all gold like the Grenada gold. I'll mix the silver up and do the silver the exact disco silver, that is disco silver. Sorry, I forgot to say that. The disco silver. And just fill your head up, your head. Fill your cap up. And man, just let your minds run wild with this. You can do this with any colors whatsoever. Any colors whatsoever. And take your thing here and make a huge mess. That's what you want to do. Huge mess. It ain't good to get it all over you. And then again, all you want to do is just where you're putting the paint, heat it. And with this disco silver, it's going to take you a few times to get it just right, because you have to heat it up just right and get the right amount of flake on there. So there you have it, folks. That right there is a glitter critter. That's just my version of glitter critter. And see, if you get it heated up just right, you can get it to stick the very first time, right there. And I will make a video of tying that also. So, this is Bayou Bob out. Keep your gown down.